our video report as we explore the foundation of our nation's governance. The Constitution, a cornerstone of democracy, serves as the supreme law of the land, outlines the principles, structures, and powers of our government. But what is its true nature and function? How does it shape our society and ensure the rule of law? In this report, we'll examine the Constitution's role, scope, and impact, delving into its principles and values, structural framework, powers and limitations, evolution, and amendments, and examining its role in promoting accountability, justice, and equality.
Hi! Today, we explore the key function of a constitution and why it's vital for a stable society. A constitution serves as the foundational document of any government, ensuring the balance of power and the protection of citizens' rights. First, it establishes the basic framework of government, defining the powers of the legislative, executive, and judicial branches, to prevent any branches from becoming too powerful. It also regulates individual rights and freedoms, guaranteeing protection against injustice and safeguarding liberties for all citizens. Importantly, the Constitution protects people from government abuses through mechanisms like the separation of power, prohibition of certain powers, and the specification of basic rights. It ensures no authority can overstep its bounds. In summary, the Constitution is not just a legal framework. It's a safeguarding for democracy, ensuring for governance, and protecting citizens from tyranny.
Kinds and classification of Constitution.
Ang mga konstitusyon ay nahahati sa dalawang uri batay sa pinagmulan. Una, enacted o conventional. Formal na isinulat at inaprubahan ng isang Constituent Assembly o pamumuno, nakasaad sa dokumento at tiyak na alintuntunin. Pangalawa, evolved o cumulative. Unti-unting nabuo sa paglipas ng panahon mula sa kaugalian at desisyon ng hukuman. Walang tiyak na dokumento at nakabatay sa karanasan ng lipunan. Mahalaga ang pagkakaibang ito para sa pag-aaral na legal na sistema sa iba't ibang bansa. Pag-uuri ng mga konstitusyon batay sa anyo at paraan ng pag-amenda. Ang mga konstitusyon ay maaaring iuri batay sa anyo at paraan ng pag-amenda. Batay sa anyong written, formal na isinulat at inaprubahan ang mga probisyon nito ay nakasaad sa isang tiyak na dokumento. Unwritten, umuunlad sa pamamagitan ng mga kaugalian, tradisyon, desisyon ng mga hukuman. Walang iisang dokumento kundi batay sa mga praktikal na prinsipyo. Batay sa paraan ng pag-amenda, rigid, mahirap baguhin at nangangailangan ng espesyal na proseso para sa anumang pagbabago. Pangalawa, flexible, madaling i-amenda gamit ang parehong proseso tulad sa mga ordinaryong batas. Mahalaga ang pag-unawa sa mga pagkakaibang ito upang mas mapalalim ang kaalaman tungkol sa mga legal na sistema at proseso ng mga konstitusyon.
Requisites of a good written constitution. A good written constitution should be concise, clear, and on point. Some of requisites of a good written constitutions include broadness, brevity, and definiteness. The first one is broadness. A good constitution should be comprehensive, outlining the organization of the government and its essential functions and power. A good constitution should be brief, broad, and definite its statements of principle without ambiguous expressions. It must also remain flexible to adapt changing times. The second is brevity. A good constitution should be concise, focusing and avoiding unnecessary detail, being concise, making words appear important and meaningful. So, the Constitution should not be lengthy. It should contain only important things, and the unimportant things should be left out. But the brevity should not lead to gap in Constitution that have some issues unexplained. The last one is definiteness. That is, a good constitution should be clear and unambiguous, avoiding confusions in interpretation. It should be written in a language that accessible to the general public. By clarity and definiteness, we mean every clause to the Constitution should be written in a simple language as should express and meaning clearly.
Three essential parts of written Constitution: Constitution of Government, Constitution of Liberty, Constitution of Sovereignty. Dito nakasaad ang mga powers o kapangyarihan ng iba't ibang branches ng gobyerno, tulad ng executive, legislative, at judicial. Example, sa Pilipinas, ang Constitution of Government ang nagtatakda na ang President ang pinuno ng executive branch at may kapangyarihan magpatupad ng batas. Ang legislative branch naman na binubuo ng Senado at Kongreso ay may kapangyarihan gumawa ng batas, while ang judicial branch o hukuman ang may responsibilidad na mag-interpret ng batas at tiyakin ang hustisya. Constitution of Liberty. Nakapokus naman ang Constitution of Liberty sa pagprotekta ng fundamental rights of freedom ng mga tao. Ito ang mga liberties ang nagsisilbing shield laban sa posibleng pang-abuso ng kapangyarihan ng gobyerno. Example naman din ang Bill of Rights sa Philippines Constitution ay bahagi ng Constitution of Liberty. Nakasaad dito na ang bawat tao ay may karapatang magpahayag ng opinion or freedom of speech at ang karapatang hindi basta-basta maaresto ng walang sapat na dahilan. Sa ganitong paraan, ang mga tao ay may proteksyon laban sa posibleng pang-aabuso ng mga nasa kapangyarihan. Sa Constitution of Sovereignty naman, ang section na ito ay tungkol sa mga paraan kung paano pwedeng gamitin ng mga tao ang kanilang sovereign power. Dito nakasaad kung paano nila ma-approve, mababago at mamamodify ang mga pangunahing batas ng bansa. Importante ito para siguraduhin accountable ang gobyerno sa mga tao at ang kagustuhan ng tao ang nangingibabaw. Example naman dito sa Pilipinas, ang Constitution of Sovereignty ay makikita sa provision ng People's Initiative. Ito ay isang proseso kung saan ang mamamayan ay pwedeng mag-propose ng amendments sa Constitution o sa isang batas. Halimbawa, kung maraming tao ang gustong baguhin ng ilang bahagi ng batas, pwede silang mag-organisa o signature campaign para maipakita ang suporta at ang gobyerno ay kinakailangan sa alang-alang sa kanilang proposal.
Now let us tackle about the 1987 Constitution of the Philippines. It was drafted by the Constitutional Commission or CONCOM created by the former President Corazon Aquino after the People Power Revolution. The draft of the Constitution was approved by CONCOM on October 12, 1986 and ratified by the Filipino people on February 2, 1987. Now, for the features of the 1987 Constitution, consists of the preamble, 18 articles covering various aspects of governance. Article 1, National Territory. It defines the Philippines' territorial boundaries. Article 2, the Declaration of Principles and State Policies. It outlines the fundamental principles and policies of the state. Article 3, the Bill of Rights. It guarantees the individual rights and liberties of Filipino citizens. Article 4, the Citizenship, defines the requirements of the Filipino citizenship. Article 5, or the suffrage. This article deals with the right to vote and the qualification and disqualifications to votes. Article 6, the Legislative Department. This article outlines the structure and power of the Philippine Congress, which is the legislative branch of the government. It covers the topics, the composition of Congress, the lawmaking process, and the power and limitation of the Congress. Article 7, the Executive Department. These articles deal with the executive branch of the government, headed by the President. It covers topics like qualification and powers of the President, the Vice President, and the Cabinet. Article 8, the Judicial Department. This article outlines the structure and powers of the Philippine Judiciary, which is the judicial branch of the government. It covers topics like Supreme Court, the Court of Appeals, and the lower courts. Article 9, Constitutional Commissions. This article deals with the independent constitutional commissions, which are bodies created by the Constitution oversee to oversee specific areas of government. This commission includes the Commission of Elections, the Commission of Audit, and the Civil Service Commission. Article 10, the Local Government. This article outlines the structure and power of local government units of the Philippines, such as the provinces, cities, municipalities, and barangays. Article 11, Accountability of Public Officers. This article deals with the accountability of public officials, including the President, Vice President, Member of the Congress, and other government officials. It covers topics like impeachment, disciplinary actions, and civil liability. Article 12, the National Economy and Patrimony. This article outlines the economic policies of the Philippines, including the role of government in economic development, the protection of national resources, and the promotion of entrepreneurship. Article 13, Social Justice and Human Rights. This article deals with the human rights, including the right to work, the right to health, the right to education, and the right to housing. Article 14, Education, Science and Technology, Arts, Culture, and Sports. This article outlines the government's policies on education, science and technology, arts, culture, and sports. Article 15, the family. The article deals with the family as the basic unit of society and the role of the government in protecting and strengthening the family. Article 16, the general provisions. This article contains general provisions on various topics, such as the national language, and the flag, and the national anthem. Article 17, Amendments and revisions. This article outlines the process of amending or revising the Constitution. And lastly, Article 18, Transitory Provisions. This article contains provisions that are intended to facilitate the transition of the new Constitution.
Unique features of the 1987 Constitution. Article 2, Section 8 of the 1987 Philippine Constitution declares a policy of freedom from nuclear weapons within the country's territory. This section states, the Philippines, consistent with the national interest, adopts and pursues a policy of freedom from nuclear weapons in its territory. This constitutional provision reflects a long-standing commitment by the Philippines to nuclear non-proliferation and disarmament. The policy is rooted in several factors: national security, international relations, economic considerations, and environmental protections. Article 2, Section 12 of the 1987 Philippine Constitution mandates the state to equally protect the life of the mother and the life of unborn from conception. This provision has been a cornerstone on the ongoing debate surrounding abortion in the Philippines. The phrase "from conception" is crucial as it establishes the legal recognition of the unborn as having a right to life from the moment of fertilization. This constitutional provision significantly impacts the legal landscape concerning reproductive rights and abortion access in the country. Article 14, Section 1 explicitly states the government's commitment to strengthening the Filipino family. The provision reads, the state recognizes the Filipino family as foundation of the nation. Accordingly, it shall strengthen its solidarity and actively promote its total development. The implementation of this constitutional mandate is multifaceted and involves various government agencies and programs. While the Constitution doesn't explicitly detail how the state should strengthen families, it sets the stage for policies and initiatives aimed at economic support, child protection, family planning and responsible parenthood, family-oriented policies, and promoting family values. Article 3, Section 19 represents a significant step towards the protection of human rights in the Philippines. While it allows for the conditional reinstatement of the death penalty, the high threshold set by the Constitution ensures that such a decision will require some strong justification. The section emphasizes on the prohibition of cruel, degrading, or inhuman punishment, further reinforces the commitment to upholding human dignity within the Philippine legal system. The ongoing debate surrounding the death penalty highlights the complexities and importance of balancing the need for justice with the protection of fundamental human rights.
So, ayun po, no? Dito po sa video ito ay dito natin tatalakayin ang pro-people provisions. At dito po natin malalaman kung ano ang kahulugan ng bawat isa. These provisions in Article 2, Section 9 of the Philippines Constitution emphasize the promotion of a fair and evolving social system. It underscores the importance of establishing a society that upholds justice, equality, and progress, ensuring that the welfare and rights of all individuals are protected and upheld. This principle aims to create a dynamic environment where social justice is prioritized, leading to a more equitable and inclusive society for all its citizens. These provisions from the Philippines Constitution focus on various aspects and promoting and protecting the rights and participation of the people. Protection and advancement of a balanced and healthful ecology. And this is the Article 2, Section 16. This highlights the importance of safeguarding the environment for the well-being of the people, emphasizing the need for sustainable and eco-friendly practices. Priority for education, science, technology, arts, culture, and sports. Article 2, Section 17. This underscores the significance of investing the prioritizing these areas to a foster and well-rounded and progressive society. Free and open party system. Article 9, Section 6. These provisions ensure that there is a democratic political system where various parties can participate freely, allowing for broader representation and engagement of the people in a political process. Sectoral representation in the House of Representatives. Article 6, Section 5. This system allocates seats in the House of Representatives to a representative from specific sectors like labor, agriculture, youth, women, and others, ensuring that the diverse voices and concerns are heard and considered in the legislative decisions. Recognition of the right to effective participation in decision-making. Article 13, Section 16. This acknowledges the right of the people and their organizations to actively participate in decision-making processes at all levels, promoting inclusivity and transparency.
The provision on initiative and referendum in legislation and constitutional amendments as outlined in Article 4, Section 32 and Article 16, Section 2 and 4, allowed citizens to have a direct role in shaping the laws and the constitution of their state or country. Initiative. This progress enables citizens to propose new laws or amendments to existing laws if enough people support the proposed measure, usually through petition signatures. The proposal can be placed on the ballot for a vote by the general public. If it receives majority approval, it becomes a law. Referendum. This allows citizens to challenge laws that already have been passed by the legislature. If enough people object to the law, they can petition to have the law put up for a public vote. If the public votes against it, the law is repealed or amended. Constitutional amendments. Similar to initiative and referenda, constitutional amendments can be proposed through citizen action, allowing them to directly influence changes to the Constitution. These amendments may also be subjected to a public vote if specified by the provision and Constitution. Together, the provision ensure that citizens are not just passive recipients of laws but active participants in democratic process. We have a power to propose, approve, and reject laws and constitutional changes which help ensure that the laws remain responsive to the needs and will of the people. Article 16, Section 2.2 mandates the regulation of the advertising industry to protect consumers from misleading or deceptive advertising practices. This regulation ensures that advertisements provide truthful and accurate information, allowing consumers to make informed decisions when purchasing products or services. This provision is designed to safeguard consumers from being misled by false exaggerated claims in advertisement. Without regulation, business could make deceptive or misleading statements to manipulate consumers' choices, which could result in harm, financial, health-related, etc. To individuals. By regulating the advertising industry, this provision helps ensure that advertisers provide truthful and transparent information about their products and services. This way, consumers can make decisions based on reliable information, which support fair market competition and promotes consumer trust. Essentially, it is a consumer protection mechanism that promotes honesty and transparency in advertising. Article 16, Section 9, protect consumer from unfair trade practices and hazardous product by empowering the government to enact law and regulations that ensure the safety and welfare of consumers. This provision is aimed at preventing business from engaging in unfair or deceptive practices that could harm consumers. It allows the government to create and enforce laws that protect consumers from being exploited through practices like false advertising, price manipulation, or fraudulent transaction. Additionally, it ensures the products sold to consumers are safe, not hazardous to their wealth of well-being, and meet required safety standards. The goal is to ensure a fair marketplace where consumers are not taken advantage by unscrupulous business or exposed to dangerous products by giving the government the authority to regulate trade practices and product safety. This provision helps promote consumer protection, public health, and consumer confidence in the marketplace. Article 16, Section 11.1 seeks to protect the public interest by preventing the concentration of media ownership and control in the hands of few powerful entities. The goal of this provision is to ensure that no single group or individual can dominate the media landscape, thereby promoting diversity in the media ownership and plurality of voices. This is important because the diverse media environment allows for a variety of perspectives, fostering informed public discourse and preventing the monopolization of information. In essence, this provision aims to maintain a free, independent media, which is crucial for democracy. When the media is free from monopolistic control, it can better serve the public interest by providing a wide range of views and holding those in power accountable. This guarantees that media remains a platform for expression and truth, not merely a tool for corporate or political interests. By enacting such regulation, the 1987 Philippine Constitution upholds its pro-people orientation. It empowers citizens to access reliable information, encourages fairness in media practices, and help protect their rights to diverse viewpoints and functioning democracy. This approach serves the broader goal of protecting citizens' welfare and ensuring that the media serves the public, not just private interests.
Pro-poor provisions. Ang pro-poor provisions ay ang mga polisiya, programa o patakaran na nakatuon sa pagtulong at pagpapabuti ng kalagayan ng mga mahihirap o nasa laylayan ng lipunan. Layunin nitong bawasan ang kahirapan at tugunan ang mga pangunahing pangangailangan ng mga mahihirap sa pamamagitan ng pagbibigay ng akses ng edukasyon, kalusugan, pabahay, trabaho at iba pang serbisyo. Policies that improve the plight of the poor and underprivileged. Promotion of social justice, agrarian reform, rural development, right to labor, housing and health, Article 13. Ang Article 13 na isang hakbang upang isulong ang pantay na oportunidad at katarungan para sa lahat ng Pilipino, lalong-lalo na sa mga nangangailangan. Economic policies for the benefit of the poor, Article 12, Section 1. Sinasabi ng Article 12, Section 1 na ang Estado ay dapat gumawa ng mga economic policy o hakbang na magbibigay pabor sa mga mahihirap para sila ay magkaroon ng mas maraming oportunidad. Dapat siguruhin ng gobyerno na ang mga likas na yaman ng bansa tulad ng mga lupa, mineral at iba pa ay gagamitin ng maayos at patas para sa kapakanan ng buong sambayanan, lalo na ng mga marginalized o nasa laylayan ng lipunan. Kasama rito ang mga pulisiya o batas na nagpo-promote ng industrialisasyon at iba't ibang mga proyekto na makakatulong sa ekonomiya para maging inclusive o sakop ang lahat, lalo na ang mga nangangailangan. Educational policies promoting the rights of citizens to quality education at all levels. Article 12, Section 1 and 2. Ayon sa Article 14, Sections 1 and 2 ng Philippine Constitution, mahalaga ang karapatan ng bawat mamamayan sa dekalidad na edukasyon. Sinasabi dito na ang Estado ay may tungkuling magbigay ng access sa quality education para sa lahat sa iba't ibang level mula sa basic education hanggang higher education. Pro-Filipino Provisions. Ang Pro-Filipino Provisions naman, ito yung mga batas na naglalayong protektahan at isulong ang kapakanan ng mga Pilipino sa iba't ibang larangan ng buhay, lalo na sa ekonomiya, edukasyon, trabaho at kultura. Ang mga probisyon na ito ay ang pangunahing nagsusulong ng interes ng mga Pilipino upang matiyak na sila ay makikinabang sa mga yaman at oportunidad sa bansa at mapanatili ang ating kasarinlan at pambansang pagkakakilanlan.
The anti-dictatorship orientation of the 1987 Philippine Constitution. Limitations on the exercise of executive powers of the President, Article 7. This article outlines the power and limitations of the President. Ito ay naglalayong pigilan ang konsentrasyon ng kapangyarihan sa mga kamay ng isang individual na tinitiyak na ang otoridad ng Pangulo ay balanse at sinusuri ng iba pang sangay ng pamahalaan. Strengthening the powers of the legislature, Article 6, Section 2, and the Supreme Court, Article 8, ang mga artikulong ito ay nagbibigay ng kapangyarihan sa mga sangay ng legislatibo at hudisyal na pamahalaan na nagbibigay sa kanila ng kailangang otoridad upang suriin ang sangay na tagapagpaganap at protektahan ang mga karapatan ng mga tao. At ang sistemang ito ng checks and balances ay nakatutulong na pigilan ang pag-usbong ng authoritarianism na tinitiyak na ang gobyerno ay nananatiling may pananagutan sa mga tao. Magkasama ang mga probisyong ito ay lumilikha ng isang sistema ng mga checks and balances na naglilimita sa kapangyarihan ng executive branch at nagbibigay kapangyarihan sa legislative at judicial branches. Nakatutulong ito upang maiwasan ang paglitaw ng isang diktadura at pangalagaan ang mga demokratikong prinsipyo na nakasaad sa ating konstitusyon.